Hey there, it's Life According to YoBo, day 230. Thank you for coming back again. You can follow this series, The Life and Death of Mattie, Bertha, Canton, Bowie, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you want me to email you the links, I'll do that too. Just hit me up. You know how to get in touch with me. Visit YoBoProductions.com. Well, this is the 7th message. I honestly thought I would be through in 2 or 3 messages, but now once I've started talking about it, and my family members are listening to it, for a lot of them, they didn't know any of this information about our grandmother. And I'm getting nosy now. I'm beginning to call other people and ask questions. I don't have that many more to call. We have a few relatives still in their late 80s and their early 90s, so I'm picking their brains now. But yesterday, when my sister Gail and I did the video, we talked about my mother and Aunt Helen dealing with the truth about their mother's death, about their father's girlfriend killing their mother. And as I was talking yesterday, I was trying to be careful with the things that I said because I'm telling my mother's story. There were also 2 other daughters. There was my Aunt Helen, and I have yet to tell you all that that Grandpa remarried, and he had a 5th child with his 2nd wife. I'm going to tell you about her too, and how the events from December 3rd, 1931 affected my grandfather's 5th child, the one who had nothing to do with none of this mess. But before I do that, I got to share that I got a phone call from my cousin Mattie. She is the oldest of the first cousins on our mother's side. And I was so surprised because, see, I've been tiptoeing around some stuff that I don't want to say because I don't want to cross the line. It's okay if I'm talking about my mother, but there's some other things that I don't feel comfortable saying because some of it will involve her mother. Honey, she gave me the green light. She told me to go forward. Let me tell you what she said. She said, we've got to have this in order so I can read it. She said, I like romance mysteries. She said, this is very good, very good, very, very, very good. That's like a pat on the back to me because I'm just watching myself. I don't want to be disrespectful, especially to my cousins. She said, you made it very clear. You made it very personal. At some point I say, oh, how stupid. But was it stupid? We're going to get to that point when she asked the question, was it stupid? Because up to this point, I've made Grandma Lula out to be the villain. But was she the villain? We're going to get to that part. Okay, I asked Mattie, the story we told yesterday, was it accurate? Mattie corrected it. She said she recalls him coming to the house. She recalls him spending the night, maybe 1 or 2 times, but she believes my mother may have talked Aunt Helen into allowing him to come over. She says, I remember Mama saying, Papa, you want some coffee? I remember him sitting there in his old man t-shirt like a wife beater. He had on an open white shirt. I'm looking down at my notes if you wonder where my eyes are going. Mattie recalls he always wore dress shirts and slacks, always wore a suit. I remember that since she said it. And when she offered him the coffee, he said, no, if you drink it, it will make you black. All of a sudden, I remember that too. I remember somebody saying, if you drink coffee, it will make you black. It was my grandfather. And when he told me that, I immediately had a vision of our Uncle CB, who was dark-skinned. And it scared me because I don't want to look like Uncle CB. Okay, we got the difference in the ages. Mattie could hear him say that and laugh. But I'm about 6 years younger. I hear that as a child, and I believe it. So again, when events happen in the lives of children, depending on the age you are, people will interpret it different ways. Okay, Mattie said when he'd be there at the house, her mother would be tense and she couldn't wait for him to leave. And when he would come to town, Aunt Jewel would call, she said, so that Uncle Mo could go get Grandpa from the bus station. Mama did not drive because Mama was epileptic, so she couldn't get a driver's license. Mattie said her mother would say, "Don't bring the old man here," and that's what she called him, the old man. Not daddy, not daddy-o, always the old man. I remember that too. She said, "Don't bring the old man here. Take him to Jewel. He can't stay here." Mattie believes that our grandfather tried to make amends with his children, but she knows one thing for sure, that her mother couldn't stand him, could not stand him. Her words. But at the time, Mattie didn't understand why her mother couldn't understand him. She goes on to say, "You're right. We never had a dinner with Aunt Jewel and Mama and him in the same room. I've never seen the two of them together with their dad." I said, except for at his funeral. The two of them were in the same room with their dad. Mattie said, and she didn't want to go to that. I said, "What?" She said, "Nope. Nope, didn't want to go." But she did. I asked, "Did Uncle Mo talk her into going?" She said, either him or Aunt Jewel, but probably Aunt Jewel. Aunt Jewel was her baby. That's the only reason she moved to California, to be with her sister. Aunt Jewel came first, told her about the job opportunities, and then my mother came. So I asked her about the story. How much of this story did you know? Mattie is the oldest out of all of us. She said, "Well, I knew most of it." No, well, I take that back. All I was ever told was my mama died. Mama died. I remember her saying it was Christmas and all four of them were on the back porch, and if they wanted to say something, they could. But after that, they could not say anything again about their mother. She said the whole story about Daddy-O and how he got the name. She said, I just relived all that as you told it. And I remember when we called him Daddy-O, he would laugh. But as I said, Aunt Helen just called him the old man. And Mattie said, "You got to write a book. You got to write a book." But then get to this. She said, "What sent chills through me was when you posted the death certificate. When it said stabbed in the right breast with a knife, I don't know if you know it, but my mother slept with a knife under her pillow every night." No, I didn't know nothing about that. Even before my dad died, Mattie said, she slept with a knife under her pillow. A butcher knife. You'll have to print this. It's different when you do the storytelling, but when you put it on paper, it's going to be even better. Yes, ma'am. Go for it. Excellent. Excellent job. And then get this. Okay, y'all, remember how I said, I'm not telling this story to throw Grandma Lula under the bus. I'm not telling this story to make our family look bad. I'm not telling this story to air our dirty laundry. But my cousin Mattie put the icing on the cake when she said, for some reason, I felt a release. Look at God. And when I saw the death certificate, she said, I could actually see the kids sitting out there watching their mother dying. I said, Mattie, keep in mind, one of those kids was your mother. We talked about the therapy. When we finished yesterday's message, I was saying it's okay to go get therapy. You got to get professional help. If for some reason you went through something as a child and it is still affecting you as an adult, just like Aunt Helen. sleeping with a butcher knife under her pillow. She lived to be almost 90 years old, 89 years old. Something that happened to her at 10 years old. And now here she is, 8 decades later, sleeping with a butcher knife under your pillow. Mattie said, that's why I put a lock on my door when I had to move in with her, because that's what we do in our family. We take care of our elders. But she put a lock on her door. My mama went to therapy. Aunt Helen would not have gone to therapy. Mattie shared that when her children's father passed away in an accident, she had her children in therapy. Aunt Helen disagreed with it. She said, they're not crazy. Why are you sending them to the crazy doctor? And Mattie explained, no, I'm getting professional help for my children. My children need help. And Helen would say, there's nothing wrong with those kids. And in her mind, there was nothing wrong with them, because you take problems and you sweep them under the rug and you don't deal with it. That's the way her parents dealt with it. That's the way Aunt Helen dealt with it. That's the way Grandma Lula dealt with it. Grandma Lula had been the child of slaves. You know, that's the way slaves dealt with it. You don't let your emotions get involved in your day-to-day life. If you got a mom and a daddy today and tomorrow you get sold away from them, or they get sold away from you, you still got to fill that sack right over there. Got to fill it all the way to the top with cotton. Whether you feel like it or not, you still have to perform. Had it been up to Aunt Helen, her grandchildren, Mattie's children, never would have been in therapy when their father died. They would have dealt with it the way we deal with everything else. Sweeping it under the rug. And do y'all know what happened when you sweep S-H-I-T under the rug? You know what you get? A big old lump of S-H-I-T. I ain't trying to cuss. I ain't trying to be nasty. I'm telling y'all the gospel truth. Life according to YoBo. And thank you, Cousin Mattie, for sharing that information with me. I hope that helps somebody listen. Y'all go get professional help, please. Go get professional help. Okay, come back tomorrow and we're going to talk about my mother's half-sister and how all this affected her. How she went to her grave bitter as well over something she don't even know happened. Oh, turn my music off. All right, y'all. Bye-bye.